Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Edward Moran, as Liam has already said there, and I'm involved in a very typical local history group in Goresbridge, and with an interest of people in the local area, general local area. It's just a short list now. This is not a very complex kind of presentation, but nevertheless, it'll give you some idea of what we do. And we were established in 2002, as you see there, and very much with the influence of the local parish priest, who was an interest in history, and Tom MacDonald. And it came as a result of the success of the 1798 commemoration, which was done in the area, a local committee. And it was established at that stage, and it was established, as I said, in the Goresbridge area. Now, we do the usual things that local history groups are involved in, such as outings and all that. This is just a map of Goresbridge. Goresbridge is on the Barrow borders of Kilkenny and Carlow. Just a nice shot from the river there. Don't want to delay too long on this, just to give you an idea. It's a small village, like very much established sometime in the 1760s with the building of the bridge. Now, this is a group, like what a lot of groups do, like summer outings and that type of thing. And this is a typical group. We're up in Glendalough here. Now, the other thing we do is field trips to local historical interest. And this is a small group at Jerpoint. Just many of the local areas we visit, like as part of our yearly itinerary, such as architectural sites, old churches, cemeteries and that. But the main function of our group is putting on an exhibition for Heritage Week. And essentially we would gather information, put it together and try and exhibit it for the local community. In other words, to try and give the local community around Goresbridge and out from that an idea of the various kind of historical and heritage aspects of their area, both recent, folklore, built historical heritage and that. And in the early part of it, it was held in the local schools, old schools that were not being used anymore. This one now is two-storey, which was difficult because access was a problem. Now, later on, we were lucky enough that there was a new centre built in Goresbridge, which was ideal for such events. This Heritage Centre, I'm just looking for a date, in 2008. And this was our first event held in the new Inaldara Community Parish Centre. And this was, the theme of this exhibition was blacksmiths. And we put together a kind of a visual presentation of the whole blacksmith and farrier what would you call it, craft, that at this stage is totally gone, like, in a sense, like. So we kind of gathered information, like, and we would have talked to descendants of blacksmiths and blacksmiths who are still alive, and we would put together some information on them so that it would be held, that it would be continue to exist. And we looked at all the count books and that. But for the exhibition, you can see here that we had a kind of photographic presentations, artifacts from the craft, such as the products they made, such as the wheels there. And the venue was ideal. It was ideal from the point of view of access, of, the visual aspect of it was easily appreciated. And this is something that we do. Each year we'd try and get a team. And while the team wouldn't be the total, other things would go on in the exhibition as well, like some of our members would have done work on the local community in Goresbridge. They're working on the 1910 or 1901, 1911 census, and it would have built up a kind of information on the various families who lived in the village. That's an ongoing thing. Also would have done work on local houses within the area, and that's another ongoing thing that would continue to be updated. This is another example of an exhibition that was done in 2010, and this was on sports in the area, where we dealt with a lot of different sports organisations in the area, and each exhibition would bring in their own kind of interest, own people of the interest in it. Like, so you'd appeal to a wider and a different audience each year. Now we'd repeat aspects of older exhibitions. So this was a very successful one. Various different soccer clubs, GA clubs, fishing club, skittles, which is totally gone at this stage, cricket. You know, so there'll still be memory of cricket with like the cricket field. And of course, the local boxing club would have had a great attraction that year, because that was the year that Darragh O'Neill won the European and World, European Championship anyway. This is one on the river. We did one on the river Barrow, so obviously the river would be important to the local community. So this is another way we've used exhibitions by building models. This is a model of a lock. This is Long's Lock, or Lower Ballyellen Lock, and the boat was made by an old boatman from Graignamanagh, Patrick MacDonald or Peter MacDonald. And then just, you know, and models have always been part of it, like we made models of mills and that type of thing. And then people would have, family in the area had made a model of an old thrashing set. And this is a good example of the way we present different things.
Sorry, I was just wondering, how do you pay for them? How do you fund the models? Or do people do it voluntarily? Or?
It's all voluntary.
Is it? And
No,
do you charge to bring it to the exhibition?
there's just a voluntary contribution. If you want to make a contribution, it's a voluntary contribution. And that generally has kept the funds on an even keel over the years. Now we also kind of put together kind of bits of local research on various aspects. These are two examples. The Janville eviction and the Journal of John Murphy. And the Journal of John Murphy was transcribed from the handwritten Journal of John Murphy, which is now in America and would have great local interest. The local eviction was just an incident in the area that we did research on, and made available for the exhibition. This is another example of what we also like to do, is a kind of hands-on aspect of the exhibition. This was the river exhibition, but you see it in the front here, two current stones. And these are very attractive. Children love this, trying to use a current stone, and older people as well. So it's an aspect of it that we like to kind of promote if we can, or use if we can, because it creates a great interest and a great understanding of an old process of grinding corn, which was the basic method still used, or used up to recently in mills and that. But and these are the kind of things where people get involved, and that's what we kind of feel this is important. Now this was a kind of an interesting one. A family in Borris, County Carlow, built coaches, horse coaches. Millets of Borris originally came from the Innisteague area of Kilkenny, and they set up this coach building factory, so to speak, in Borris, and this sidecar was patented by James Millet back in the, well, this was patented by his son actually in the early 1900s. The factory was set up in the mid 1800s. And so a local gentleman, John Cushion, had a good collection of old traps and of various kinds. So we got them together, got them to clean them up, and we exhibited about six different coaches, sidecars, tub traps, dog carts, what have you, and also aspects on the millet history. and there were other exhibitions as well there. But you know, it was totally different, like in a sense, like. But it obviously was a great success, and it brought people from a long ways outside the area. A lot of people now have seen it on the heritage handout, heritage booklet, and people came from Dublin, Waterford, Midlands, and it's one of those things that you bring people with an interest. Yes.
Could people actually get up and sit in them?
No, not really. It's a little bit dangerous. Like we didn't have them secured.
Insurance,
We're reasonably secure, but I think it would be a little dangerous now. Now we did. I think someone wanted to get a photograph, so we organised it. Like it wouldn't have been safe to allow people to get up on them. Like. Not that one anyway. Like this was. Now this is just an example of. This was last year's, which was actually being the year of the gathering. We did on families, telling the family story. So different people put together their family histories, and we put them up. And I just show Ellen Bollinger here in the wheelchair, just show how access is important, like, because Nellie, as we call her, was very important because she was a great woman with a lot of information, like on her own family and on the Barco family, which is a family you can see there in front of you. And it's important that people who might not be able that easily access the place to have access to it. Also buggies and that as well, like so. But it's important that people, older people particularly, with a lot of information and with a lot of interest, would have access to something like that. And you can see here in the front there, just the old fireplace. You just get a corner over there, like with the pots, I think, and the old lamp. That was part of one we did on vernacular buildings. One year we did on vernacular buildings, and we set up an old fireplace and it still creates great interest. Like. So that's more or less my. Okay, I'll take questions.
That was
Make it quick.